Okay, we're going to be looking at problem number 19 on page 367 from chapter 7. This one is talking about a library subscribing to different magazines, and it asks us to set up a tree diagram. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to consider the first day that a magazine arrives. So the magazine could arrive on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. And then for the second set of branches, it's going to represent the day that the second magazine arrives. So the first set of branches represents the arrival of the first magazine. The second set of branches is the arrival of the second magazine. And we can go ahead and label each of those Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you had this branch here, it would represent the first magazine arriving on Wednesday and then the second one on Friday, whereas this branch here would be the first one arriving on Wednesday and the second on Saturday. Okay, it also gives you the probability of the magazine arriving on different days. So the magazine of it arriving on Wednesday was 0.1. The probability of it arriving on, it was 0.4. On Thursday, it was 0.3. Friday was 0.2, and Saturday was 0.1. And since these are independent, it says the two magazines' arrival times are independent of each other, that means that the probabilities are the same on the lower set of branches. If you were dealing with a conditional probability, the probability would be different on the lower set of branches. But since this is since it's an independent probability, the probabilities are the same on every set of branches. Now, to calculate the probability that both magazines arrive on Wednesday, what I'm going to do is multiply my way down the tree. So I'm going to say 0.04 times 0.04. Just tracing my way down the tree, multiply my way down to the bottom. So 0.04 times 0.04 for this first branch is going to give a probability of 0.16. For the next branch, I would start with my 0.04, and then I would multiply it right here, then I would multiply it by my 0.03, so that's going to give me a probability of 0.12. And I would just continue multiplying down the tree for each of my probabilities to find the probability of each of these combinations of days occurring. Now, this tree has 16 different leaves, so there's actually 16 different combinations of how the magazines can arrive. For example, this leaf right here would represent the first magazine arriving on Thursday and the second magazine arriving on Wednesday. So and it has a total probability of 0.12 to find Thursday followed by Wednesday. You could look at another leaf over here, which would give you the probability of the first one arriving on Saturday followed by the second one on Friday. It has a probability of 0.02. If I add all those 16 leaves together, I will get the total probability of 1. Now, to continue with the question the problem wants, it would like me to find the probability distribution of y, where y is the number of days past Wednesday it takes for the magazine to arrive. So, if both magazines arrived on Wednesday, y has a value of 0. So the only way to have a y value of 0 would be if both magazines arrived on Wednesday. And looking at my sample space, my probability of both magazines arriving on Wednesday is simply 0.16 based on my tree diagram. Now, a y value of 1 could represent several different possibilities. It could mean the first one arrives on Wednesday, the second one on Thursday, or it could mean the first one arrives on Thursday and the second one on Wednesday, or it could mean both the magazines arriving on Thursday. All of those would mean I have both of my magazines one day after Wednesday or on Thursday. So what I'm going to need to do to answer that question is I'm going to need to add those three probabilities together. So I'm going to have this probability here, Wednesday, Thursday, this probability here of Thursday, Wednesday, and this probability here of Thursday, Thursday. So if I add those three probabilities together, that's going to give me a value of 0.33, and that'll be the value for that part of my probability distribution. Okay, now if it happens 2 days past the due date, that's going to be a whole host of possibilities. It would include this one here, if this, anything that the second one will arrive on a Friday. This one here, any of these three here, and as well as, so it's any of those 5 possibilities there. You would add those all up and that would give you that answer. Then I'm going to have to do for 3 days past. That means I get a magazine on Saturday. So that would include this one, as well as this one, and then any of these. Now if you wanted to take a shortcut, instead of adding up these 4 values here, I could say that the sum of those 4 values was equal to 0.1. So that would save you on your addition, but when you add them all up, you're going to get a value of 0.19 either way. Now, if you wanted to double check the accuracy of this question, you can add up your distribution, and it should add to a value of 1. And in this case, it does. Any probability distribution should add to 1. That's just a quick way to check your work and give you more confidence in your answer.